Alright, so this is just a fairly quick video about hand position entering the water and exiting the water. I think it's really important to keep in mind while you're watching this video that the person swimming, Lissa, doesn't normally enter the water or exit the water all these different ways. So for her, she's trying to demonstrate. It might not be exactly how you would see it in somebody swimming or in yourself swimming. So keep that in mind as you watch. As far as my preference goes, as far as hand entry, I always like people to try to think about entering ring finger first, and you'll see that, and I'll point it out to you in the video. But as far as really entering neutral or entering pinky first, those are all okay. It's fine. The important thing to remember is that you don't want anyone entering thumb first. Entering thumb first, like this. Let me see if I can find myself. There you go. Entering thumb first, like that. Really is going to injure somebody's shoulder and shouldn't be done at all. And it also is going to cause hands to slide outward versus entering slightly ring finger first. You're going to be able to catch closer in and into a better, safer position. As far as exiting the hand, my preference is to use what we call a little J sweep out. That way the palm could be facing back the entire time. With the palm facing up cue, it's okay. But what ends up happening most of the time is people put too much strain on their shoulder to try to lift their hand up out of the water. And it can end up in some injury. And then also you'll see in the video how high up Lissa's hand goes above the water line, above her elbow and above her shoulder when she tries to push out of the water with her palm first. And then you'll see the pinky first entry, which just shouldn't really be done or asked to be done. But we'll go over it, we'll review it. So I hope this video is helpful, and I hope we learned something. So enjoy. Alright, so neutral hand position. You can kind of already see from above the water, she's entering sometimes a little thumb first, sometimes neutral. This is the only downside to, I think, a neutral, well, not the only, but one of the downsides to a neutral hand position. Sometimes it ends up being thumb first. Here under the water, you could see, especially in slow motion, neutral hand position is okay, but it's a little bit harder to get into a catch position. You can see the fingertips point down, straight down. All right, so when you see ring finger first, you'll see how much easier it is for her to catch. So here's ring finger first. So slightly turned inward through the wrist, and as she can catch, just a little bit easier because the palm is facing a little bit more inward, the direction that the catch is going to happen. Now here's pinky first, which is an over-exaggerated ring finger first, and you can kind of see how she starts turning her arm sideways, which won't allow her to catch properly. And actually just waste a lot of time and energy. She's basically slicing through. So here's our first exit. Here's palm first, and you can see how high her hands are compared to her elbow and her shoulder. Might be good for sprinting, might not be good for sprinting. I don't think it's good for anyone's shoulders really to swim like this. In order to pull her hand out, she's using her shoulders. But you can see at least she's doing a good job of having her palm face back, and there's only a brief period where she's pushing up towards the surface. And we don't want to be pushing up because we want to be moving forward, but this is the lesser of probably two evils, and you can really see that, how it kind of pushed up right at the very last second there. See if we can see it again. Right, so she's pushing up a little bit, so some of her propulsion is being moved upward, and you can see how it's just throwing her hands so high up out of the water. Take a look at that. See, that's all shoulder joint and deltoids. That's not a lot of the supporting muscles that we want to use in the back. So here's pinky first exit. This is my least favorite. It's very similar looking to palm first. Above the water, under the water, she's losing her paddle. See how she just lost her paddle, that last little bit of the finish. Swimming is a sport of centimeters, and we want every little piece of propulsion that we can get, even if it's just your fingertips generating propulsion as it exits the water. We want every little piece that we can get, and turning your hand to exit just forces you to lose that last portion of your paddle. Here's the J shape. This is what we kind of focus on at SwimBox. So you can see she keeps her palm back the entire time, and she's trying really hard to make sure her palm doesn't face up towards the surface, because we don't want that vertical propulsion. We want horizontal propulsion, and this sort of type of stroke promotes that. And you can also see above the water how her hand is much lower, less strain on her shoulders.